Let's lift up the hood. Let's see what's going on. I think Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody should want this type of transparency. And I think the hysteria by the Democrats is just something that not a lot of people are going to be able to get on board with. You can make an argument without all the hysterics, which is what we saw today.
And Carly, is there an argument, though, for keeping these programmes going while the review is underway? I mean, if it's discovered that a certain percentage of them are worthwhile and should be reinstated, they'll have missed, that continuing window.
No, I don't think so, because again, anything that is deemed as something critical, and that's up to the Secretary of State and the people who are there to say, any of these dollars going into something that's critical, that's ongoing. But it's very clear, for instance, when you have millions of dollars going to DEI programs in Serbia, for instance, that doesn't need to be reviewed. That is clearly a misuse of taxpayer dollars, so that should stop. So I think that if aid is critical, it's going where it needs to go. But in the meantime, again, we should be making sure that American taxpayer dollars are furthering American interests here and abroad.
There are programs, though, that relate to public health, relate to HIV/AIDS and so on in some of these countries where those running them have expressed great concern. Dan, what's your view on what's happening?
Well, no one voted in 2024.
Okay, you need to shut up. It's bizarre. All the shit what they're saying. Hello. It's been a while. How to explain why I haven't been on? First of all, how politics is being on YouTube has been a bit weird, to be fair. And the United States is, I don't know, it's even weirder than I thought it would be. I didn't think it would be this bad, but okay. Now I'm thinking, like, fuck me, did all them books I read as a kid about, like, dystopian futures and shit, and comics, like, just read, are they coming true? Because I'm kind of freaking out at this point. Like, I've been trying to, like, oh no, the news is just so weird, I don't even want to watch it. But now apparently it's so weird, I can't but watch it. Holy shit. Let's go. I mean, it is fucking weird.
Around for decades.
Especially
and USAID was founded under executive order by John F. Kennedy, but then codified in 1998 by an act of Congress. The budget that Carly's referencing is largely the same budget that Donald Trump's administration put forth in his budgets when he was president the first time under a Republican Congress. These are programs that Marco Rubio, the current Secretary of State, has praised over the years as being important for U.S. soft power, for keeping us ahead of China in many respects. They are vital to our national interest and also helpful across the world. But regardless of whether you like the programs or not, it is illegal what they are doing. They can't reorganize the agency by fiat. They can't freeze spending. There's an impoundments clause. Article 1 of the Constitution gives the power of the purse to Congress. They're going as fast as they can, hoping that they can be faster than the courts and faster than Congress's ability to hold them in check. But I think the American people do not want the billionaires that sat in the front row of Donald Trump's inauguration to run this country unfettered without checks and balances. And they will pay a political.
But here's the funny part is, they did. Like, they literally voted for a fucking clown to run their country. Like, they did. Every other rational human being that doesn't live in the United States was like, Donald Trump is the worst idea ever. Only Americans would think Donald Trump is smart or anything other than that. The other mad shit that comes with Mr. Trump. Why would anybody else vote for that muppet? Like, you need to put yourself in the educational sphere. Like, if you're in a room full of people who are educated and you say a dumb fucking thing, you shouldn't probably open your fucking mouth in there, right? Fucking Americans don't open their fucking mouth. You know why? Because they voted for Donald Trump the first time. Now, they just proved that wasn't a fluke. Like, shit, I'm old enough to remember George W. Bush. Remember that? Oh my fucking days. Yeah, we do remember that. So do Iraqis, apparently. and the world's fucking policy at that point. Anyway, point being is, we get all the way to now, and everyone's thinking Kamala Harris will save us from the retardedness of America. No, America just says, we're even dumber than everybody else thinks. It's not even a thing at this point. And the scary thing is, it's literally changing the planet. The more Donald Trump opens his fucking mouth, the weirder the planet gets. It's like fucking the Matrix. He's pressing buttons with his fucking mind. And shit keeps going weird. But apparently Americans are like that, because fuck knows, right? Fuck knows, apparently. But we all have to suffer because they are the best thing that ever happened to planet Earth. Jesus fucking Christ.
Price for Republicans will in 2026 in the midterms.
Carly, that's weird. A point, isn't it? People voted for Donald Trump, not Elon Musk.
That's my country.
Who they voted for is Donald Trump, yes, and he is the person who they are entrusting to use his executive power as he sees fit. It's no secret that Elon Musk was obviously, he was going to have a role. Donald Trump made no secret of that. He was out there campaigning with him. And further, this is something the White House press secretary said today, Elon Musk is following all federal law. And frankly, I think it's rich for Democrats to talk about, unelected bureaucrats making decisions. That was happening for 4 years under Joe Biden, and you could argue has been happening since we were created. So I have to laugh at the Democrats making that argument now that all of a sudden they have a problem with billionaires getting involved in politics. That's something their side has been doing for a very long time.
Dan?
Well, I invite Elon Musk, and I hope that Carly would agree, to take the same level of insight in the Defense Department, which is more than half of the domestic spending in the United States budget. 54% of the discretionary budget is in the Defense Department. Elon Musk gets billions of dollars in government contracts, SpaceX and Tesla. One, that's a huge conflict of interest to put him in this position without a security clearance, without a background check, without any conflicts of interest assessment. But then two, to pretend as though the 1% of the budget that's going to USAID is really the problem with spending when 54% is in defense and billions going directly.
I'm laughing to myself because I'm thinking, I love the way they talk about numbers like they're gangsters. Like, just admit it, right? Like, people think this is the Illuminati, there's all these crazy people. Decent, bro. Gangsters run planet Earth. Like, you're very confused at this point. Just watch the good gangster movie, you'll find out who runs planet Earth. It ain't no aliens. It's the aliens. Are you shitting me? Have you seen a planet Earth? No, it ain't aliens. They're the dumbest fucking aliens I've ever met. Anyway, if I've ever met aliens, which I don't work out. Anyway, aliens, no. Illuminati, the men from the ages, they're all hidden. They're so secret, everybody fucking knows about them. It ain't them either. Stop being stupid. What you know in your local neighborhood? Gangsters. Who do you think rules the world? Gangsters. Stupid fucking cunt. I mean, I don't know history, to be honest. Not that well versed. But in terms of, like, now, gangsters. Unless there's some, like, stupid... Unless there's some magical conspiracy theory that makes me a fucking wizard, like Harry Potter. Or some stupid shit. I don't fucking know. As far as I'm concerned, gangsters. And that's fine with me, because that would make sense. Lord of the Jungle and all that shit. Evolution. I mean, at least that would fit. Magical guy in the sky, not so much. So, I don't know. Did we come from the soup and create shitty TV shows for people to watch and be, fucking, I don't know, brain dead about? Probably. But yeah, people want to make money in it. Like, everyone you listen to on YouTube or the internet right now, their main focus is, I want money. It's terrible when you think about it. What happens to, like, pride? And shit. Nope, God.
To his company, the richest man in the world, if you really believe what Carly is saying, I invite Elon Musk and Republicans to take the same level of interest in DOD.
Well, if we talk about the Department of Defense for a moment, we've heard...
No, it's about the richest man in the world. Why is that a thing? Oh, it's the richest man. Yeah, but we all allow that to happen, don't we? We all agree. that we're all greedy bastards, and whoever gets to the fucking top first wins. It's literally the rat race, right? We all agree capitalism is our way of trading, communicating, social habitation. I mean, it's the most social economic thing, but whatever. Right? Let me not. Okay, let me. Yeah. So people are like, well, fucking money. Yeah, but money is a social, economic, philosophical position that's so weird that you take it for granted. When actually it isn't. You shouldn't take it for granted. It's a bit weird how every aspect of how you think is based on something that's not innate to a human being. Or, well, not the word of it anyway. It's not a physiological. Oh, Jesus. It's not a part of your body that you're born with. Shall we put it that way? So, when you grow up, that shouldn't be a problem because it's not innate in you to be greedy. But we have somehow, in our past, become gravitated towards this thing like money. It literally says in the dictionary, money is anything with intrinsic value. Well, and currency is the valuation of money itself, which makes no sense when you try and par them two together. But apparently that's how way we sociologically interact with each other, which is on monetary value shit, which is weird. So, a lot of these conversations are a bit weird, to be fair.
From President Trump last night with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and again today, this notion of he wants to own Gaza, he wants to remove.
Yeah, but he's a businessman. Like, listen to the words he's using. Own Gaza, like it's his property. Own it. He thinks the world is a real estate thing because he's done it before. He's used to buying shit like you're used to going to shop buying eggs, which you can't afford. But that's what he does. He literally said in the interview he finds it hard to say the word grocery because he doesn't understand what it means. Like he literally said that, which is profound. For me anyway. It's really
the Palestinian people and put them in other countries. The other countries he mentioned, Jordan and Egypt, have said no, they're fundamentally opposed to that. Palestinian people should remain on their land. What role, Carly, do you see for the US military here? Would there be widespread support for the US military taking over Gaza, operating it, being...
Like, just floating the idea, what if the United States just decided to take over Gaza? What are you going to do, mate? I mean, I'm just posing the question as a rational human being. What are you going to do? What is any country going to do if the United States decides we're taking over this bit of land? Just explain to me, please. It'd be interesting. Cause I don't think you're going to do shit at that point. Like Denmark going, oh, help. The United States has gone full Nazi Germany on us. Anybody? And the French, God bless them. The French like, we'll help. It's getting so ridiculous. It's like Monty Python. Like honestly, it is that funny. It's like Monty Python. When I haven't done the news for ages. You know that. I normally do politics live. I'm like, oh, I'm interested. I'm not anymore because I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on? Labour are boring as fuck. So there's no point in messing. Like, why would I cover Labour anymore? They're just boring. I trust Rachel Reeves and I trust Keir Starmer just to not be Tories. Don't need to stream anymore. But when it comes to like recently, I've been a bit intrigued by the whole America thing. So I'm kind of back at it. God bless me. Especially tonight. First of all, I've had a few spliffs. Just saying. And I'm having a beer. But this shit's a bit bonkers if you think about it. Like the whole, I haven't mentioned Trump at all in terms of like videos. I guess I am now. Welcome America and anyone else who's paying attention to this fucking madness. It's like Aldous Huxley or some shit. It's like this. Am I living in the Matrix? Is what I keep asking. Is this real? It can't be real. AI is going mental, and we just elected Donald Trump. Well, not we, but you know what I mean. It's happening again. It's just the end time. Oh my god.
In charge of forcibly removing people, which the UN says is illegal.
Well, I think that's getting a little ahead of what has been communicated by the White House. President Trump, to my knowledge, has not said that he's sending troops, or at least he hasn't committed to doing that. Look, I think when we're talking about the people of Gaza, of course, we have to acknowledge there's a humanitarian crisis. But
Yeah, but no one's ever going to solve. Okay, as a neutral, I'm not anti-Jewish, anti-Muslim, I'm agnostic. Okay, so don't flame. I would say Gaza and Jerusalem, or the whole Israel thing, that will never be actually solved properly, because they're both religious people. Like, that's not like science or anything. I'm not having a go. I'm just pointing out facts. If you say, if you agree with any religious argument, you're a nutcase. Not in a bad way. I mean, religion is okay in some regards. I'm not a hater. But if you're so hell-bent on thinking religion is correct, you're a fucking wizard. That's a fact. Because you read that shit as in a book, right? The people who are in the book never wrote the book. Just saying. Anyway, point is, if you live in Gaza or Israel, the only way you're going to stop killing each other, if you do what Ireland and Northern Ireland did, which is stop the religion and just realise you're both human. Okay, you can have a difference of opinion of the universe. That's fine. You don't need to fucking kill each other though, innit? You get what I'm saying? Just agree to disagree. Just be happy people. Just be like, okay, I agree and I don't agree with you. Just do that. I do that all the time. Not as polite, I admit, but I try my best to say I disagree. And you know what? That's fucking awesome. You should disagree, because that's disagreeing is what makes us individuals in a kind of weird way. Because if we all thought the same way, it'd be a bit boring, wouldn't it? We'd all be like fucking robots, like Tesla or some shit. I don't fucking know. We get the point. It'd be a bit crap. So it's okay to disagree, even if it's crap shit. But especially if it, like, you want to chop off someone's head or whatever, you should probably agree to disagree at that point. Because no one wants to get the head chopped off, do they? We're all human. You know. Don't need to be a cunt. Kind of shit. Anyway, it's a bit mad, isn't it? The whole news cycle. Okay, let me talk a little bit about English politics, because people are like, why you not speaking about Labour, you prick? Well, Labour have been impressing me so much, I can't even be asked to cover them. No jokes. I've been here all the time watching. I have, honestly. You know me, I like my news. So I've been watching. They're so boring. It's like, fucking hell. There's nothing really interesting that I could cover, really. Most of it's right-wing bullshit, anyway, that I've seen, shall we say. Like, okay. Since I've been away and haven't streamed any videos, breaking news, Rachel Reeves is a bad chancellor. No, she isn't. She used to work for the Bank of England. Are you taking the piss? No, she isn't. Anyway. She says she's following the economic doctrine that she should. Per view. The Bank of England. Anyway. I digress. She didn't give us pie tax. So, that part's shit. Some people have been, I would say, championing. I wouldn't say champion. Maybe that's the wrong word. Been talking about Nigel Farage's party reform. Not much traction, to be honest with you. But, an interesting. Tories, shambles, not new. But the thing that caught me out was the whole reform thing being leveled with Labour. I wouldn't worry about that so much, to be honest with you. Because Nigel Farage is not popular. I mean, he is popular because he's like Gordon Ramsay. He's a celebrity, right? Now think about it. If we had proportional representation, they would have won a lot more seats. Like, people shit on proportional representation. Oh, it's bad, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because it is. The system we got now is way better for keeping out the weirdos. Keeps them out because you need a majority, a proper one. Instead of getting like fucking random ass racist fucking winning MP seats, you need an actual first past the post. So get fucked. If you want to be like, I know, Italy, Germany, you can have proportional representation. And the people who cry about it are always the fringe ones because they know how the math works out. Just saying. If you know the math, you know what works in the electoral map. Electoral map, I should say. And I said this ages ago. In fact, I got an election correct. The European one. Fuck knows when it was though. Anyway, I posted it on my other channel. It's like, see how the shit works. This is how it's going to be. And if you give maps to compare the independence map. I think it was after Brexit, actually. I did the Brexit one. Yeah, that's it, actually. I said when the Labour Party were going to die. Okay. Well, I predicted the Labour Party would lose. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, the only reason why is because Brexit. Now, a lot of Brexit voters, which are both on Labour and Tory sides, or the Reform candidates, which used to be the BNP. See, a lot of people are confused. They think, oh, the BNP is only on the right. No, it's on the left as well. A lot of BNP people vote in Liverpool, which is to the left. You can still be a fascist and be on the left or the right. It doesn't matter which colour you are. It's about mentality. So, you could be working class somewhere, wherever the fuck it is, and still be patriotic / fascist. Now, you don't have to be in terms of a racist or whatever, because they're very typical in terms of how you would work them out. But people who are, I wouldn't say they are xenophobic, but they are because they don't know any better, really. They think, like people in America first shit. They think the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they wanna, like, sorry. Everyone's shouting in the background. Anyway, so yeah, where was I? Fucking America being weird and stuff, and Labour and all that shit. I forgot literally what I was talking about. Right, so point of this video is America's a bit mental, but it's not just America. If you've noticed a trend lately of, well, it's not lately really, right-wing isms, and I blame this on the age or the generation. YouTube used to be a lot different, and not because YouTube changed it, it's because the personalities that came on YouTube. When YouTube decided to make money from content creators, or whatever they call it these days, salesmen, women, they established a whole industry of fucking ass clowns. So you don't really get anything interesting on the internet anymore. You just get people who want to make money because of adverts. Everyone's a little salesperson, which is very weird. Like, first of all, it was the companies being the horse for the adverts. And then they realised, well, if we can convince the advertisers, I should say, to pay us so we can convince you with their adverts. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird spectrum to go down. But they're like fucking getting paid for you to be on the internet. And people want that to be a job. To be a whore for them. And with like, and they know that's the case because they're bribing you with money, like AdSense. Like, I've watched about 1 billion videos, no jokes, where people said, I got a Patreon, I got like all this shit. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a job on the internet making shit videos. You can. But I'm saying is, a lot of people think these videos are facts. Now, forget all the normal content creators who make garbage about garbage stuff that I watch and you watch, and we just watch them anyway, and whatever, good luck to them. The news, on the other hand, is a whole different scenario, because the news is supposed to be not biased, right? And the thing I've noticed is the news, well, I wouldn't say noticed, recently it's became more prevalent, which is a better way to say it, is that the news, or at least my feed, has been a lot more left-wingy, give me money, and a lot more right-wingy, give me money. If you know what I mean. Like, from what I see anyway. It's all about give me money. And no one's paying attention to the crazy shit of the actual politics itself. Like, Donald Trump is now the president of the United States. Did nobody forget, well, as everybody forgot, what the Supreme Court said he can do to people who was like, I don't, what did the Supreme Court say? People who are his anti-him, I don't even know what that word is, but I'm retarded. Literally kill them with anybody he wants. You gotta understand how batshit crazy this is. Donald Trump has the power to literally kill people and won't go to jail. He can send SEAL Team 6 and kill you. And that's classed as a part of the presidency. He can kill his opposition. He can kill anybody in Congress and get away with it. Do you understand how batshit crazy that is? No? Okay, that's fine. Like, no, like, Donald Trump, I'm just glad no one's told him he won the Supreme Court case about being immune from prosecution. Nobody told him that. What? I'm so happy. Okay, good. No one told him he's a gangster, a proper one. He's the president / Al Capone, and he doesn't even know it. He can get away with whatever, literally get away with murder, and nobody can say, you can't do that. Well, the Supreme Court said I can. Like, that's how batshit crazy this is. Like, people watching my video right now, or will eventually see it, maybe, God knows when, they'll be like, you're fucking crazy. No, the fucking world's crazy. Like, look what's going on here. You got World War III going slow as hell in fucking Ukraine. That's gonna fuck knows what's gonna go on there. But God, it's not gonna be the Berlin Wall, put it that way. Anyway, then Labour in England. Fucking hell, we got no money. Yes, you have. Just print it. I mean, they're fucking. Rachel Reeves will come up with some shit. You can't go bankrupt if you got a central bank. That's just a fact. Okay, let's just get two things very clear here. Zimbabwe, right, the breadbasket of Africa itself, never went broke. even with 1,000% inflation. Yeah, I said that correctly. 1,000% inflation. 1,000,000. A lot of fucking zeros, right? Inflation. Do they ever go broke? Nope. You can't go broke if you print your own money. So don't listen to people who say you don't go. We've got no money. We invented money. Invented it. You know, it's not like a fact in terms of like gravity. Like we can all jump up and down. It ain't the same thing. Money is something we accept as a means of transaction, so we get along with each other. That's all. There's no other fucking reason why money should exist. We made it a thing because of individuals, and we said, okay, I want this, but you got that. Give me that shit over there. That's all. So don't let money confuse your ass. Okay, it's a bit weird, but don't let it. But in terms of how these governments are interacting, it's a bit weird, isn't it? It is a bit weird. Because certain people, like, look, you got China. China's just like, oh, I just chill, not bothered, right? And then you got Russia, who's like, we wanna be like America. And then America's like, we want to be like Africa, and everyone's like, what? we want to be a third world nation, and everyone can laugh at us. But we was doing that anyway, forever. Why do you want to make it worse? I don't know. Fucking Americans. America is a TV show. It just is. You can't make it up. America's brilliant, but also. On a side note, I've been laughing for ages while smoking my spliff. On a side note, Elon Musk is a bit weird, isn't he? I used to like Elon Musk. I don't anymore. I mean, I appreciate people who like do things like him, like rockets and cars. Plus, like both of them, and the electric thing. I appreciate that. I'm not gonna lie. I will not take that away from him. But at the same time, he's lost the plot, hasn't he? Come on, he has. Like, you can only give someone so much leeway before you can go, yeah, I can't agree with that shit. Like, to be honest with you, I did leave X. As soon as he endorsed Donald Trump, I was like, nah, I can't do that. Because I know what Donald Trump is. Is he a perfect human being? Definitely not. Should he be president of a giant country like the... No. But that's not my choice, is it? Or yours. Unless you're American. So, what can you do? But Elon Musk is mental. I definitely... reevaluate my thing on him. If I was Elon Musk supporter anyway, I would. It just seems he's gone down the deep end. I think too much Joe Rogan. Maybe. I don't know. It just seems weird. And some of the shit he's got up to with the whole give me your social security number. Fucking hell. The world's getting very weird very quick. Can I just say, I was using Python the other day, which is annoying. And, oh my god, this AI shit is literally bonkers. Can I just say that? As someone who used it the other day, it's. I just keep thinking, who's gonna have a job? If you can use a computer, well, from what I was testing anyway, if you're on a PC and you've got a job of some kind, like, you just ask a chat GTP to do something logical, not retarded, logical, like job specific or whatever, it will do it. And I'm just like, wow. Not wow in terms of it's possible. Wow in like, holy shit, the economic consequences are bizarre. Like, I asked her, I said, do this, and it was like, fine. I was like, really? Like, it just did it. And it worked, and I was like, oh, no, that's not good. No, that's not good at all. It was amazing, like I said, because I like technical nerdy shit. It was amazing, I won't lie. Just doing it, I was like, oh my god, it's fucking mad, isn't it? But then the fact that it worked, I was like, oh, that's creepy. That's very creepy. Because it worked. First time, not even have to do it again, just did it. And I was just like, holy fuck. Like, that would took me hours to figure out. And years of training. The robot did it in like 2 seconds. I was like, okay. Wow. So, I don't know, man. Is Donald Trump worse than AI? Should be the question. Maybe we should put that as a community poll. People are like, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. I definitely think AI is worse than Donald Trump. Which one will make the world more fucked up first? Donald Trump, who won't last that long, or I can't wait for the midterms, but that's another story altogether. I digress. Or AI. I think AI. I think the next 2 years of job numbers are going to be down. Like proper. I think in the next 2 years anyway. At least down. Because it makes no sense. If AI is getting better, and what I tested the other day makes any sense to me, which it did, because it worked, then people are going to lose jobs. If I can code something, I didn't even code it. This is the weirdest part. I didn't code it. I asked a stupid bot. I said, do this in Python. And it fucking give me the code. I copied it, pasted it, and there it is. It's like, we normally pay people to do that. But then again, this is the weird part where I go back to how stupid the internet is in general. When I was growing up, when I was a young nerd, shall we say, I used to build web pages. I used to build them, make them in Notepad with code, type it out, right? That was like my first qualification was IT. Hey, whatever. Anyway, point is, then web pages like Squarespace and, you didn't even need to code. The web page could make the fucking web page that you want. So why would you need me? Like, unless I was back end, which is that's more like engineers, really, if you know what you're talking about. So I was like front end, I guess, like the shell. And people who are, well, smarter than me, to be honest with you, were back end, all the like fucking nerds. Like, they were doing the bit that now they call engineers, like I just said. So they get all the jobs now because you can't make. But now the engineers, or the coders, which are engineers, don't know why I was saying that, but I'm saying it just to make sure you understand. They're going to get fucked because AI can literally code the back end as well. So, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. And if you know that's important, then this whole, I don't know if you're the client lately in the sphere of YouTube or social media, the word AI clients, they're basically automated systems, which is weird. I saw some of the things that I think the head of Microsoft said. You're not even going to use programs the way we think of them anymore. They're going to be agents. So you're going to be doing things on the internet. Like, imagine opening Paint, MS Paint, for instance, right? MS Paint's going to be like just a canvas. And then you're going to say to the AI, which is going to be like in the corner, in a little red dot, like fucking HAL. Some shit. It's going to be some creepy fucking nightmare, right? And you're going to like, give me a pen. Like, and it's going to ask you like what size, like how thick do you want it? Like, it's going to ask you all the relative questions you would ask if you were using Paint. It's going to ask you them questions, and you're just going to say yeah. You're going to talk to your computer, is what I'm saying, really. Because that's what AI can do. I know it sounds really strange, but think of sci-fi films like 2021 Space Odyssey, what the fuck it was called? 2001 Space Odyssey, I should say. That thing, HAL, is what they want computers to be. Fucking personal assistants, right? HAL. As long as it doesn't kill me when I'm having a sleep or whatever, that's fine. Or try and kill me when I'm trying to land on a planet. IO, or whatever the fuck it is. Anyway, point being is, don't kill me. These computers are going to get weirder. Now, I think I said like last year, randomly. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I said to somebody anyway, it could be in Discord. If you look at like mobile phones today, and you look at AI, in 10 years it's going to be very strange. Because when I bought a mobile phone, it was the size of a house. And then 10 years later, it was I lost it in a taxi. That's what it was. Razor flip phone. Yeah. So, technology is going to be rapid. And so is this thing. And that's why this economic shit's weird in terms of the whole shit. Because that's going to impact us as well. Not only Donald Trump and his mad shit and Labour and people thinking Brexit was a shitty idea, which I don't think it was, to be fair. I know people were like, bro, you're still Brexit, yeah. Yes, only because I think the European Union is broken. I love Europeans. I wish it would be different. But I think the European Union was based on the idea from the 70s, but the 60s, technically speaking. And it was a good idea. It was based on free trade and giant markets. It's called, what's that shit called again? You know, people like Tony Blair, globalization, them guys. Yeah. Trading blocks are a great idea if everyone else agrees. You can't have everybody agreeing to not agree, because that doesn't make any sense. Neoliberalism is a race to the bottom, but if the bottom gets richer, then there is no bottom. The margins get very shorter, and then what do you get? You get what we've got now, which is nationalism. Basically, we've reached a saturation point of neoliberalism. It doesn't work. Because you got the Far East, which is twice the size of most of the European markets, give or take, in terms of buying power, at least. So, the world has changed, but then, because Billy Big Bollocks is money, so to speak, money equals influence. Influence is predicated on one's way of thinking of how the world should work, shall we say, and also how you see the world, which is the moral aspect, i.e. Putin was it Ukraine because he thinks, SSR or whatever. So, in the grand scheme of things, it's like Donald Trump. Donald Trump thinks, yeehaw, I'm a cowboy, we're the best, yeehaw. It's the same shit. Little Britain's just doing Little Britain things, which is, like I've seen a lot of videos about Keir Starmer. Oh, well, we're kissing Trump's ass, we're kissing the EU's ass. Yes, because we're a little tiny island, we're not a fucking empire anymore. It's like people forget that. Like, we got influence in the world because of our smarts. But have you seen how big we are? Like, we don't own countries anymore, motherfucker. I mean, who the fuck are we going to invade? We can't. I mean, the only people we invade is Spain and France, and that's on holiday. We can't even get there anymore without a hassle, right? So, calm your tits. But we do have influence. I'm not gonna use. I'm gonna shade that's because of history or whatever. But, you know, we got influence. I'm scared to press play now because I've talked so much. She's going to say something that I've said about 10 times already. Go ahead then. She's got the hair for it. God bless her.
I have to raise my eyebrow and question why surrounding Arab nations wouldn't accept people who are fleeing that area. And by the way, let's remember who they're.
Because that's a bad idea. Okay, Gaza. Oh, God. Fine, right. God, would you want to live there? Yes or no? What does that look like to you? Texas. After a fucking, after a tornado, people still live in Texas. Maybe just like the idea of home. I mean, let's face it. When you was a child and you believed that God made that land especially for you, you'd want to stay there too. This is the point. These people are convinced, and so do the people who are not as nice as them. Called Israelis, by the way. Like I said, I'm agnostic in this fucking endeavour. They're just a shit in terms of, well, religious. Why would you want to live there? You wouldn't. But religion and stuff, like, why would you want to live in Texas if you got a tornado? People do.
Real villain is here. Hamas is a terrorist organization that currently controls Gaza. They murder babies, Hamas. They burn people alive. They rape women. They are the true villain here. And if we want lasting peace for all people, we have to take a look at the situation, be honest about who the villain is here.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, this is, okay. Not justifying anyone's actions before anyone starts getting mad in the comment section, like, I'm fucking promoting mad shit. But one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. Now, that's not saying that their moral judgment is correct. I wouldn't say that. But if you look at how humans operate normally in history and now in the present, it is shit. Because, like I said before, they're fighting over an idea. They're not fighting over anything tangible, really. Or nothing that no one can prove. Right? They're just saying, I don't like you because. And I don't think that's sufficient. I can understand. Okay. This is actually going to be weird because I'm going to. I don't believe that you can hold a position. See, I'm contradicting myself right now. You can't hold a position and then say that it's correct in terms of religion. But I just contradict myself because you have to hold the position in order to be incorrect in the first place. So the choice is which position of said people do you believe to be correct or justifiable? I don't mean killing people or that weird shit. I mean, as a claim, without the barbarism. The claim is, for that speck of land on planet Earth, that a holy person of some kind made that place sacred. Right? These are facts that you can't deny. Like, that's why they kill each other. They don't kill each other because they're bold. They kill each other because they read a book or believe that they're special. Like, that's the God's honest truth. I don't even believe in God, but I don't know. Get the point, right? So, they both accept that they're both correct. How you plan on solving that problem? Please, just, tell me.
And look, I think that President Trump and his administration are throwing something out there to a problem that has been ensuing for 50 years. The American people have seen this chaos and this war in the Middle East for
50 years? You've never read a history book, clearly, Don. They've been at war since it was called well, it wasn't even a state really, the nation. I don't even know. Yeah, nation of Canaan, like the Canaanites. Like, I mean, fucking hell. That's what I'm saying. It's like if you're educated by listening to this dipshit, I think this is only 50 years old. Like, I don't know what kind of education are you getting? This is the problem. People aren't educated and they think that's a fact. They've been fighting since before God. Where do you think the word Philistine come from? You fucking clown.
Over 50 years, and so if we're all on the same page about we want lasting peace, we need to have
the Palestinian people are they're not fleeing Gaza. It's quite the opposite, in fact. They want to stay there. They want to stay on their land. And since October 7th, and you're right, those horrific attacks by Hamas, but since October 7th, they haven't been allowed to leave, even very, very ill children looking for medical evacuation. So
with all due respect, that is absolutely not true. You have
saying he cleared it with no.
Why have I gone all the way back here? I don't know.
Buddy, he's giving cover to Netanyahu, who just sat there in a place where the U.S. should be playing a mediating role. And he's proposing something quite unusual, which should be flagged here. We right now do not have a U.S. foreign policy. We've, until now, the first 2.5 weeks of his presidency, had a sanctions policy, an ad hoc unilateral sanctions policy, entirely negative, brought through tariffs and other things. Yesterday was his first chance to unveil a creative solution to a new problem, and you would have hoped that he would build on the ceasefire proposals that your correspondent reported. Instead, what he did is to suggest something without answers to, where would the land for the Gazans be found? Why should Egypt and Jordan take in Gazan residents? Will he actually use force? Will he use force with the U.S. military? He said they would do what is necessary.
Please, really? Like, what? Like, what's going on? It's like the people have literally lost their fucking common sense. Like, even listening to this guy talk, I'm like, are you making this shit up as you go along, bro?
What does that mean? Does that mean commit war crimes? Would they become an occupying power?
War crimes are just... Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you, right? If you believe in the world order, you're a fucking idiot. Okay, just going to put... You're a fucking idiot. There is no world order. The whole concept is bunk. It's just the strongest. Like, imagine yourself in the jungle. Okay? You're in the jungle, just chilling. Someone wants to kill you, run away. It's literally that simple. The biggest predator on planet Earth is the United States. Just let that sink in and then listen very carefully to what these people say and how reality works. Often mostly get it wrong in terms of they don't tell you the truth. So obtuse, like glass.
And how is this going to actually help improve the situation and bring a durable peace to the Middle East? So essentially, he proved that he has no handle on the situation.
Like, who gives a fuck about the durable fucking peace in the Middle East? No one cares. It's good for business. It literally is. People are so stupid, it's good for business. People don't understand that. And good for war. Money, profits, Ferengis. Ferengi, what did they say? That's the thing in it. But it's good for business. There we go.
And no handle on his legal responsibilities as President of the United States.
What is your sense of what impact all of these discussions over the last day will actually have on the important business of the ceasefire deal and moving it on to the second phase?
It's just a ceasefire because Israel's done. It's like we pound it into the ground. Look at it. Does that look like you want to live there? If that was your street, where would you be? Like, look at it. Can you live there? No. I'm not laughing at, like, the people's plight. I'm just laughing to think, like, the people have no common sense. Like, where are these people going to go? Like, look at that. I couldn't even draw that as, like, some dystopian fucking hellscape as a game developer. Like, I couldn't even do that. If I ask ChatGPT, give me a fucking hellscape of humans being fucking stupid humans, give me a picture. Do you think it'd come up with that shit? No. Probably be something better. Maybe a tree or a plant. Blitz. That used to be your street, your neighborhood. People are mad. They just watch these images and just like, yeah, that's normal. We're human. That's fine. It's fucking bizarre. It really is. Like I said, watching videos nowadays is a bit perplexing. It's like, it feels like I'm tripping balls because I don't understand where people's brains have gone. I just don't. Look at that shit, man. Like, you'd want to live there. Like, Donald Trump's idea is so stupid, it probably would work. Like, just move them away. But none of the Arab nations want to take them. Like, nah, they want to stay there. We want to keep it a pain points on planet Earth. Just so we can argue about it. It's just mad. Like, why is that land so valuable? Maybe you should look up where all the money goes through. It's called the Gold Coast. But anyway, it's interesting if you think about it. Like, all the money that comes from the west that flows to the east, where does it go through? Right there. Why do you think Britain took it over? Come on, are you that stupid? Like, Britain literally invaded it for one reason. It connects two different regions of the planet. Like, they just look at it on a map and then go, yeah, that makes sense. Because it does make fucking sense, that's why. It's a bit mad, but it's probably true.
To say, and that there are...
Okay, it is true. See, you don't understand. The world's about money. That's what I'm saying. All this shit is about money. Death and destruction. It's always money. Someone's fucking making money. They don't care about humans. Okay, think about this logically, right? As a human. If the world is the way you think it is, right? Jesus, whatever. How? I don't know how to explain this. Okay. If the world is the way it is, according to what you know, or what you've been told, how is it that other humans make money from news that we kill other humans? And then everybody on the TV says we believe in God and all that shit. As if that's a thing. It's a bit of a cop-out in it, if you ask me. Who the fuck's gonna live there? Nobody. Nobody lives there anyway, because they all got turfed out before they got blew up. Which is a bit mad. Well, it's not a bit mad, it's actually good that they got turfed out before they got blew up. But the point is, they're all dead. Well, not all dead. The people, people did die. But a lot of people left. And why would you go back there? These people are crazy. Because they're the same Donald Trumpers. Protest on Capitol Hill. Like, no one's asked, bro. It's America. It's clearly filled with people who don't care. They just vote for Donald Trump. They don't care. People like Hitler. Like they just do. Maybe it's trending with low IQ people. I don't know. It seems to be a thing. It seems the stupider the internet gets, the more right wing it gets at the same time. Because as a nerd, like I said before, the internet was different. It was basically just for gamers, and then you had like people join it because they made the internet cheaper. So then every freak was like, "Oh, I've got the internet," and they were asking stupid questions like, fucking okay. Good example. Good example, stupid example. I had my mobile phone. My internet was way smarter than my phone. People think chat or shorthand came from phones. It didn't. Shorthand came from computers. IRC, right? That's what I'm saying. You get these weirdos who know shit about the internet and tell you bollocks on YouTube, whatever. And then now we have to listen to a load of them on YouTube. Oh my god. Tell you things that just don't make no sense. And then we got the news right now, which is co-opted by people who are equally stupid because they don't even know how to turn on a computer because they think computers are just a thing. They're not a thing. You have to cherish your computer or the internet and understand what it is for it to make sense. But now every fucking cunt's got it. It doesn't make no sense anymore. It's become television. That's what the internet is. It's the TV. It's low IQ fucking entertainment for stupid people. That's what the internet is. Well, that's what it's become. Social media. I mean, the whole concept of the internet has become one giant advertising spasm / stupid people who want to engage and be celebrities and fucking retards. It's kind of sad, really. But what you expect, I guess. I mean, technology, really, I suppose. Is it about any technology? It all develops and it gets cheaper. People use it. But it's a shame with the internet because the internet is, I think, a different kettle of fish. I think the internet is something that is more profound because it allows humans to communicate, which is never a good idea, if you ask me. Because when humans communicate, the most humans that communicate are the stupid ones, not the smart ones. It's always the dumb fuckers who want to talk. They got a fucking ego and they just want to just waffle bollocks. And then somehow that becomes the standard norm of having a conversation. Being a fucking idiot. I always classed the internet as a school classroom. I would never talk to you as a kid. Do you know why? Because one, I can fight you, and two, you're fucking not that interesting, to be quite fucking frank. And you're not good looking. So why would I want to speak to you? The internet avoids that problem. You can be an ugly, stupid fucking cunt and still somehow manage to be, I don't know, fucking liked by the other fucking nerds in the classroom or some shit. Which is which is weird, I suppose. But hey, like I said, shit happens. Shit happens. But I don't like, even though I'm streaming right now. People are like, why are you streaming then? Shut up. I'm streaming because I'm making a fucking point. I'm getting drunk. I'm stoned. So whatever. Anyway. Fucking it's just wild. And it's got wild because people have got stupider. Not smarter. Like all this AI shit, which I'm impressed with the AI. It scares me actually. It's not impressive, it's actually scary. But the people, fucking stupid as fucking pig shit. I don't blame people for being thick. We're all. It took me a long time to distune myself from the bullshit garbage that people talk about. Instead of like waffle. I mostly listen to fiction on the internet now. I'm thinking, what? Yeah, fiction? Because the fiction is literally, I know it's fiction, but if I listen to YouTube videos that's reportedly, like, true. Like, okay, you know I do politics. So I trance around doing the politics thing, C-SPAN, whatever. But even then, I'm just thinking, oh my God, this is so fucking bizarre. I watch C-SPAN, I think the people are bizarre. Or then I watch coverage of a speech, and I think the people who are covering it are bizarre. Because they interpret it in the same way. I'm just thinking, everything we're getting right now is literally junk. There's nothing that I would say is, well, first of all, informative. Or second of all, out of date. Which I've noticed. Like, I watched the Times Radio. I watched the Times Radio video yesterday. I was like, this is so out of date. It's like a week old. I was like, what's going on? So, even that, like, just think about it, just being a week old. In terms of, like, your video outputs, like, hold on. That's a bit weird. So, like, this whole fucking thing should be done. I'm waffling. That's fine. That's the entire point. It's called the news. It's very odd. Bit like me.
Adapts to that.
I do just want to put to you the comments that we've heard, for example, from Donald Trump talking about Elon Musk saying, look at all the fraud he's found. He said that it has to be corrupt. He said that without evidence. What's your reaction to those comments?
It's entirely...
You don't need any... You don't... What do you mean? This is the point. You don't need comments. Like, and people unaware of history books. Like, oh, I'm going to say shit, therefore it's true. Shut up. Like, we live in literally a system where you, as a human being, have two choices. You can rebel and die, technically speaking, or you can go with the flow, which is exactly what you're doing. Like, there is no either or, really, in this scenario. Like, someone else is telling you they own you. You understand this is how this shit works, right? Like, if you're under any illusion that you're owned from day one, like, the very fact that your entire being is based on someone else's I forgot what's the fuck's the word? It's whatever. You're someone else's bitch. There we go. Right. The fact that you're someone else's bitch from day one, and you're going, no, what? No, yes. Why? The entire concept of an ideology is you're not born with this thing, right? You're not born with morals. You're not born with all this shit. You're born blank as a slate. Now imagine you're like a program, and someone programs you to think a certain way. That's you, right? I don't mean to use computers, but why not? Because then AI is on the rise. You're basically programmed the same way, whether you like it or not, because you're a kid. Kids suck up information, then they process it. Maybe they change their mind. Maybe you grew up as a kid and you was a heterosexual, for fuck's sake. I don't fucking know, right? And then you develop emotions and whatever, and then you decide you're gay, right? That's the point. You can change that bit, but the whole you're born bit, you can't change. That's the axiom right there. You're born, so you're kind of fucked. So then what you need to do is you need to figure out, like, how do I go left? How do I go right? These people impose. That's the wrong word. These people, well, not these people in particular, God bless them. People will give you certain ways to think, basically. And then that's how it changes. So all the shit that we watch are all biased, basically. Which is a bit sad, but it's just the way it is. We're biased.
Without evidence.
As humans. So the without evidence-based shit is, well, it doesn't matter as long as you believe in it. Like God.
I'd even go so far as to say it's a campaign of active disinformation. The few times they have made specific assertions about specific programs, like, for example, this story about a so-called $50 million.
Yeah, but disinformation doesn't matter if you believe it. That's the point. It's the point of disinformation. If you don't believe
shipment
it,
of condoms to Gaza. It's been thoroughly debunked by BBC, I'm sure, and every other media outlet on the planet. So when they are pressed for details, they really struggle to find any of any substance.
I want to also ask you about this agency as a tool of soft power. Some comments that we've had from a former State Department official, Thomas Carruthers, saying news of the agency's dismantlement will be celebrated by dictators around the world and lamented by Democrats around the world. Your response to that?
I think that's spot on. One of the people who has been cheerleading what Elon Musk was doing to USAID over the weekend is the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, because he knows that what USAID advances in the world, openness, freedom, democracy, prosperity, that makes his job and Russia's job harder in the global sphere. And when we withdraw USAID from the world, Russia, as well as other US adversaries, have a freer playing field.
So you were at that rally. You were mentioning that it was also attended by Democratic senators. What are your next steps, plans in terms of resisting this?
Well, I think what we need to see is some of the Republicans on Capitol Hill who frankly know AID, who have spent years praising the work of AID, who are on record doing that, who know what this agency is and know it is not what is being portrayed by Elon Musk. They need to speak out. They need to have the bravery to step up, correct the record, and speak the truth about this agency and its importance.
Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News. Let's take a look now at some other stories making news. A government review found that the Prevent Counter-Terrorism scheme prematurely closed its case on Axel Rudakabana 3 years before he murdered 3 children in Southport. Security Minister Dan Jarvis said Rudakabana should have been considered a terror threat, but there was no evidence of a distinct motivation to continue the case. A teenager who has been charged with murder after the stabbing of a 15-year-old boy in Sheffield has appeared in the city's youth court. Harvey Wilgoose died on Monday after suffering serious injuries at All Saints Catholic High School. The boy, who cannot be named due to his age, was arrested and charged with murder and possession of a bladed article. Local elections have been delayed for 1 year in 9 areas across England to allow for major reorganisation to take place. The government announced last year that smaller district councils would merge with local councils to create single bodies known as unity authorities. East Sussex, West Sussex, Essex and Surrey are among those affected. You are live with BBC News. US President Donald Trump signed an executive order banning transgender girls and women from sports, matching their gender identity. The order, titled Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports, invokes a law known as Title IX, which bans sex discrimination in schools, to withhold federal funding for any schools that allow transgender women and girls to play on female sports teams. White House officials say that the order will still allow the athlete to join co-ed or male sports teams. Now, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to visit the White House next week for a visit with President Donald Trump. Mr. Modi will be among the first foreign leaders to visit Donald Trump during his second term. It comes as a US military plane carrying Indian migrants accused of entering the country illegally landed in the state of Punjab. The deportation flight carrying roughly 100 Indian nationals left from Texas on Tuesday. Well, the United States says that it has identified about 18,000 Indian nationals that it believes entered the country illegally. Our South Asia correspondent Samira Hussain has more.
A short while ago, a U.S. military plane landed here in Amritsar. And just behind me, you can see that there's a lot of media and police barricades. Behind those barricades is actually where the deportees are going to be processed. Now, this part of the airport is actually an Air Force base. Because this was a military plane, it of course had to come to a military outpost. Now, once the deportees are processed, they are then going to be boarding buses and they're going to be going back to their home states. Now, we understand that there's at least 100 people that are going to disembark here in India, and they come from a few neighboring states, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, and of course some are here in Punjab. Now look, these deportation flights are not new, but what makes this different is, of course, This is the first deportation flight from the U.S. to India. The flights that have been going under this new Trump administration have actually been closer field in Guatemala and Colombia. And the second thing that makes this different is in the past, any of these deportation flights would be done on commercial airlines. But this was actually done by a military aircraft. And this is something that U.S. President Donald Trump is increasingly using the military to fortify the borders and also to have citizens of other countries be repatriated.
Sweden held a day of mourning after the worst mass shooting in the country's history. Police have not formally named the attacker, but Swedish media identified 35-year-old Rickard Andersson as the man who carried out the attack, killing 10 people before taking his own life. Well, on Wednesday, Swedes gathered at a candlelit vigil in Örebro, including the King of Sweden, who laid a... Our Europe correspondent Nick Beak filed this report from Örebro.
Sweden's never seen anything like this, and you can tell. The level of violence, hard to take in. A mass shooting that sent students scrambling for cover under their desks. Among them, Helen, a trainee nurse who we met outside the college today. The gunman was in the corridor, she told us. We could hear him firing. I just felt that at any moment I'd be shot and I would never come home to my children. This a glimpse of the horror of yesterday's attack.
Oh my God!
School shootings are very rare in Sweden, although violent crime has been increasing. Today, both royals and politicians came here to try to reassure the public. The King and the Queen, as well as the Prime Minister, have been leading Sweden in this time of mourning. This is the country's worst ever mass shooting. And this collective sense of loss, of anger and grief is complicated because there is a lack of information. Tonight, Swedish media are reporting this local 35-year-old, Rickard Andersson, was the gunman. But the motive still isn't clear. 16-year-old student Ishmael fears there was a clear racial element to the attack, taking place at a college where many of the students were immigrants learning Swedish.
In this school, it's like only newcomers to Sweden. It's not so many Swedish people there, you know. And then I think it was targeted for one special group of people.
Sweden suffers worst ever mass shooting. Okay. Wait.
It was newcomers.
It was newcomers. Oh, shall we go deep into the whole? Let's blame others. I mean, is it others really?
One man said to be acting alone, and a whole nation suffers the consequences. Nick Beak, BBC News, Örebro, in central Sweden.
Oh, sure.
Well, let's turn now to some other important news around the world. Argentina says that it will withdraw from the World Health Organization. It comes after the US pulled out last month on
Great news.
President Trump's first day in office. Argentinian President Javier Milei ordered the move, citing deep differences between the WHO's management of health issues. French Prime Minister François Bayrou survived 2 no-confidence motions in Parliament. This clears the way for the government to adopt a budget in France, which has been embroiled in months of political and economic turmoil. A left-wing movement and their allies brought the votes, but other parties didn't back them to avoid more instability. Well, before we go, heavy metal rock singer Ozzy Osbourne is set to reunite with his Black Sabbath bandmates for what will be his final performance. Ozzy Osbourne has been forced to stop touring due to a combination of Parkinson's and spinal injuries. His comeback was announced by his wife Sharon and Black Sabbath's Tony.
One more time. Come on, Ozzy. What's just going to fucking outlive me?
Iommi, Mark Savage, has been speaking to them.
It does on Turkey, fucking legendary.
The first hint that Ozzy Osbourne would be coming back to the stage took place during Aston Villa's match against Celtic last weekend. This morning, it became official. The Prince of Darkness will reunite with the original lineup of Black Sabbath in July at Villa Park. We know that Ozzy hasn't been able to play live for a while because of the health problems he's had. How's he doing?
That's refreshing, isn't it? Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, one more time. Fuck yeah.
At the moment.
He's doing great. He's so excited about this, about being with the guys again and all his friends. It's exciting. It's exciting for everyone.
But it's not just Ozzy Osbourne. It's a who's who of heavy metal. Metallica, Pantera, Anthrax, Slayer, Guns N' Roses. All bands who were inspired by Black Sabbath.
Oh, come on, really? Like, that's going to be the best concert ever? Oh my God. Fucking I don't know. What? I'd definitely pay this. I hope they put it on YouTube. I'd pay to see that shit all day.
Of those icons on one day. You know, usually you get to see them, but not together.
I've never seen anything like this, and certainly Birmingham, that's for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Black Sabbath have played a farewell show before in 2017, but Sharon Osbourne says this will be the final bow for the Prince of Darkness.
It'll be very emotional because it's really hello, I love you, and good night.
Do you think that will be the full stop?
Oh, definitely. This is it, yeah.
Mark Savage, BBC News in Birmingham.
Great stuff.
Stay with us here on BBC News. We'll have more at the top of the hour. Bye.
Pretty sure you will. Go on. What's next? Should we see what's next?
For now.
Hello there. High pressure dictates the weather trend at the moment. And with clear skies, it's provided the perfect opportunity to view with the naked eye the moon close to.
Well, if you look in the sky, you can see the moon. Breaking news, you can see the moon.
Jupiter as we closed out Wednesday. Now we keep those clear skies, and so Thursday morning is going to be a chilly start away from the far northwest. A bit more of a breeze here, but low single figures will allow a frost to form, so a cold start to Thursday morning, even some patchy fog as well. Both the frost and the fog will lift away, and for many, we're going to see a lot more in the way of sunshine. A beautiful winter's day. Now, there will be a little bit of cloud and a bit more of a breeze down through the southeast to drive in through Essex and Kent, a few isolated showers. But all in all, a dry, settled day for many, and temperatures recovering after that frosty start, 7 to 9 degrees. Now, as we move out of Thursday towards Friday, the area of high pressure is drifting off into Scandinavia, and we start to see the isobar squeeze together a little. We pick up more of a breeze coming from a southeasterly direction, a cooler source, but it will drive in more cloud. So for England and Wales, it's not going to be as cold as on Friday. Wow. Maybe the frost is lingering to the far northwest. And with that cloud around and a brisk easterly wind starting to develop, it will push in some showers off the North Sea, impacting perhaps East Anglia, southeast England and along the Channel coast down towards Cornwall. The best of the sunshine stays out to the north and the west. It'll be windy with it as well, which will take the edge off the feel of the weather story as we go through Friday. So temperatures sitting at around 5 to 7, maybe 8 degrees, but it will feel noticeably cooler when you factor in the strength of the wind. So you'll need a couple of extra layers, I suspect, probably feeling close to freezing for many on exposed east coast. Into the start of the weekend, well, we are likely to continue to see high pressure with us. There's still the risk of a few sharp showers around from time to time, and in the southeast, some of those could be wintry in nature as it's staying cold. But the quiet theme on the whole is likely to stay with us. And don't forget, if you want more details for your area, we'll download the BBC Weather app and you can find hourly details here. That's it. Take care.
Weather shit. Wow.
Witness the magic when experience meets raw talent.
There has to be a moment where I can say, wow, this is beautiful.
I love that. Renowned icons with emerging artists on a unique learning journey.
If you do it with conviction.
Yes.
So take that further.
From mentor to protege.
Everything what I tell her, she's doing right away.
We're gonna have some fun.
Watch a legacy unfold.
They really are here to help us.
Bravo! Arts in Motion. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Ukraine is just about holding the front here while the Russians have launched this fresh assault.
Everywhere you look, there are uprooted trees, there are bits of building, and the destruction is just in every direction.
Incendiary drones were dropped here. We know this was the military junta because the rebels don't have that kind of weaponry.
When you can hear the tear gas canisters being lobbed at the protesters.
There when the story breaks. BBC News. Follow on the app.
Discovering the world's table, we travel the globe, unearthing the history behind our most celebrated dishes. This is like a work of art, meeting the people preserving local ingredients and those adapting traditions for modern tastes.
They call people from here potatoes. Yeah.
Potato people?
Yeah.
Each recipe tells its own unique story, bringing a fresh perspective on our changing world. Join me, Nick Quick, for Discovering the World's Table. Watch on iPlayer.
This is BBC News. We'll have the headlines for you at the top of the hour, which is straight after this programme.
Welcome to Hard Talk from Delhi. I'm Stephen Sacker. India is the 5th biggest and the fastest growing major economy in the world. Prime Minister Modi's economic strategy brings with it enormous challenges. Right now, India is importing huge amounts of Russian oil. How sustainable is that? And given the reality of climate change, for how long can India afford to be so reliant on fossil fuels, especially coal? Well,
it's not to be. It's like China.
Energy be India's Achilles heel.
No, it's not. Achilles heel is it tends to America. I don't know. They got what 3 times the population of the United States. India is the biggest democracy on the planet.
Good to be back. It's great to have you on the show. Let me begin by asking you about your boss, Prime Minister Modi's grand ambition to have India become a fully developed nation, as he puts it, by 2047, to mark the centenary of India's modern nationhood. It's a grand ambition, but in all honesty, it's not possible, is it?
Not possible. I think it's going to be made possible well before the 100 years of independence are over. Let me set out.
Why is it not possible? It's weird I would say that. It's not possible for you to grow. Imagine I said that to you as a person. It's not possible. You'd be like, fuck off.
If you permit, my vision of what is at stake and what is doable realistically. We're already the 5th largest economy in the world. According to the Monetary Fund, the IMF, we should be the 4th largest during 2025, and possibly, if current rates of growth are maintained, the 3rd largest economy before 2027.
Yeah, I mean, there's no sign,
It's got more people than China. It's like people underestimate India. Very educated people. Yeah, that's all rural places, I would say. Very educated though. Yeah, it's very interesting country when it comes to the future of politics as well.
No doubt about the size. Now it comes. The size of your economy is beyond dispute, and the power of having.
But he's going to say but. But you're Indian, and.
0.4.
He's going to say it in a very English way, but he's going to say but you're Indian.
Soon to be 1.5 billion.
1.4, yes.
Is enormous.
Yes.
No question. But economists reckon that to become fully developed, to use that phrase, i.e. to have a GDP per capita close to that of, say, Western Europe.
It's GDP per capita. Extraordinary. They just don't technically get counted in the same way as, like, say, China. It's bizarre.
For the United States, you would need to grow by between 9 and 10% every single year to 2047.
No, they wouldn't. They just need to educate their people, and that's it. Like, I know the politics of India internally, to be quite frank, but I know one thing is good for business. Educates the populace, and they're very educated.
And that is not possible.
Let me say they're somewhat different. I don't mean that. I mean, they are very educated as people. It's ingrained.
Put it to you differently.
You can say that for every person, but you know what I mean.
The size
culturally, I think they're a bit more like, because it's a third world country, they require people to be very educated. If you're in that class of people, you know, that's the same for every class anyway in any country. But I would say in a country that's, I think, is very important for the future of humans, since it's got more people than fucking anybody, then yeah.
Size of the GDP is not in question. I ask you a counter question. Where has the developed country been defined? Point.
Developed countries are defined by, well, colonialism, which other people don't like to talk about, but it's true. And also technological advances. Like the reason why certain countries are more superior is technical advances, and that's just the truth, to be fair.
One. I mean, I know of no definition in the multilateral system. I know of countries being termed developing countries. I know of countries being termed least developed countries, and there's a listing of them. There's a system by which you graduate from being a least developed country to a developing country. Development has to be all comprehensive. I think in many respects we are already better developed than some of the so-called developed countries, because it costs much less to provide those basic amenities in India.
But I ask you the broad question because you are a key minister responsible for energy, in your case petroleum and natural gas in this country. And if India is indeed to continue on this extraordinary growth path that you outline, then India's energy needs are going to be enormous. In fact, they're going to dominate global energy markets to a very real extent. It's going to leave India very energy dependent on outside energy sources, is it not?
Not really. India is both a large consumer and it's also a producer. Your assessment that if you have to become a developed country, you need a lot of energy is absolutely correct. But I could point to examples in history where the energy availability has been lacking and have to resource from outside, Japan being a case in point, but I won't go down that road. Today, our energy consumption is 5.5 million barrels a day, crude oil consumption.
Yeah,
and that is likely to go.
Pretty much 90% of your oil needs come from outside India.
From outside. But our domestic E&P, or exploration and production, which was neglected earlier, is now dramatically on the rise. Point one. Our biofuel blending, as our consumption goes up, our refining goes up, you know, on an expanding base, we are increasing our biofuel production, which next month will be 20%. So 20% of all the fuel consumed at the bunk is biofuel, which is all indigenous, domestic.
Well, you can talk about...
He's changed system.
Biofuels, you can talk about your grand plans for offshore oil exploration, which, by the way, the International Energy Agency has poured a lot of cold water on. But let us face facts. Right now, you are hugely dependent on supplies of relatively cheap oil from Russia. And that, I would suggest to you, makes you geopolitically very vulnerable.
Well, even for the sake of an argument, even just to carry on the discussion, I think those facts are not correct. We have diversified our sources of supply, which hitherto were 27. We are importing from 39 countries. And
if I may, last year almost 40% of your oil imports came from Vladimir Putin's Russia.
At one point it was 38%, it's coming down. But today, Stephen, the availability of oil, nobody is vulnerable to external oil. There's more oil coming on the international market. It's not what something I'm saying. Where the IEA is right is that of the total demand increase in the next 2 decades, 25% will come from India. On that, they're totally correct. But today there's more oil in the market than there are takers.
But let's just talk about the short term. You made this big bet.
Okay. It's more oil than takers, then why is it so high? Why is oil so high? There's more people going to use it. There's more producers than takers.
On taking cheap oil from Russia against the wishes of the United States and your
not against the wishes. I'm sorry, this is not against the wishes. The United States was.
It most certainly was against the wishes.
Not at all. Not at all.
Let
me enlighten you. What the United States told us and told many others is that they wanted us to buy as much oil from Russia as we liked, as long as we bought it at a reasonable price. And that was music to my ears. There is no sanction on Russian oil then or now. None whatsoever.
Well, there's new sanctions now. Let's just talk about them for a moment.
First.
All right, well, you made that point. Let's just talk.
Hold on, bitch. You can't... What? Shut up. No, let him finish.
About what Joe Biden did before he left office. He put new sanctions on Russian oil, including new sanctions on the shadow fleet of tankers that is ferrying oil as we speak from Russia to India. Many of the vessels that you relied on will no longer be able to operate. Some in India are calling this an oil shock for your country.
I'm not aware of anyone who has even a nodding acquaintance with the energy market calling this an oil shock. Let me share with you what actually has happened. There have never been sanctions on Russian energy per se. Russian oil coming or gas coming through a pipeline to Hungary has been exempt all along. Russian energy going through a pipeline to Japan has been exempt. And today also, Europe is buying 20-25% of its gas from Russia. So what the Americans, I was active, I was the negotiator then, said buy as much as you like, buy it reasonable. There was something called a price cap. Now it's music to my ears. If I can buy some from some source and I can buy it at a cheaper price, we are the winners.
Minister, let's get back to the point about the shadow fleet of tankers.
No, not at all. Let me tell you.
Let me just tell you. I hope you have a plan for what you're going to do when these tankers can't deliver you the oil.
Because if your assumptions are wrong, then you come to the wrong argumentation. First of all, the fleet doesn't bother us at all. We do not use fleets. We issue tenders at the point of importation. We will decide, one of our oil companies will decide, we want to import X amount of oil, global tender, whoever can supply it, delivered at our port. So if somebody has a fleet problem, it's their problem. Now, let me...
I know this guy's ruthless. I don't know. It's like, ain't my bitch a problem? You got a problem, bitch. Ain't my problem. Give me my fucking oil.
Come back to the basic. Before February 2022, we imported 0.2% of oil from Russia. Today, it went up. But even in those last 2 years, sometimes Iraq was selling more. The main point to note is there is more oil coming on the global market, mostly from the Western Hemisphere, than there is need for that oil. So whenever there is a situation of more oil available, availability is not a problem, and vulnerability does not.
So, that's interesting you should say that. There's more oil coming from the Western Hemisphere. Well, you'd think the Middle East would be producing more oil. So it's just like a kind of OPEC thing. It's interesting.
Not arise.
It's interesting. I noticed as I was walking through your office a copy of The Economist magazine. I guess you read The Economist. You know what The Economist described your relationship with Russia as? A Faustian pact between Mr. Modi and President.
Who's asked? I mean, Jesus Christ. You read this newspaper and you think they're not biased, then you must be fucking stupid anyway.
President Putin. I believe President Putin is invited to come to Delhi very soon, isn't he?
Well, I think the Quad leaders will be coming here very soon. We buy $20 billion of energy from the United States. And let me also tell you...
I'm talking about Russia. I'm just interested in your relationship with Russia. Is it connected, the fact that you are so dependent right now on Russian energy, and India, from the very beginning, from the invasion of Ukraine by Putin's forces in February of 2022, India has refused to condemn that invasion. I guess these are connected, aren't they?
But I think you're jumping, hop, step and jump. Let me first, if you permit me, to give you some basic facts. We were told to buy Russian oil, because if we hadn't bought Russian oil and we had started buying our quantities of 5 million barrels a day, which we were buying, if Russian 13 million barrel goes off, that would have been bought from the Middle East.
You've made
and the
that
price,
point.
the price would have gone up to $200 a barrel. And who would have? You would have more inflation in Europe than you currently have.
Minister, you've talked about the price pressures. I'm now into geopolitics. It's interesting. You're a former very senior diplomat in the Indian Foreign Service. You understand the way geopolitics works. Is it wise, do you believe, for India to have forged such a close friendship to Vladimir Putin when, according to the UN General Assembly, a massive majority vote, Russia violated Ukraine's sovereignty in this invasion, something which India will not say and will not recognize? Is it wise for India to have got itself into the place it is now in?
No, India is in a very comfortable place. And other than commentators in parts of the world which have, as I said, a limited understanding of the situation, India is in a comfortable position all over.
Bro, what he's saying is, we don't care. We want to get paid. This is the point. These give me money. Like this YouTuber, give me money.
One of the first foreign ministers that the incoming Secretary of State met was the Indian foreign minister. A quad meeting is taking place here. My prime minister has had a discussion with President Trump. I think some of the concerns you're worried about should be addressed to European audiences.
But you believe, believe in international law, don't you?
Oh, not a believe. I'm a practitioner of international law. I've written a book on the use of force. And I think Western Europe is hardly in a position to tell anyone what international law is all about. Let me tell you, we have condemned the use of violence. My prime minister has been on record from day one to say this is not the time of war, this is a time of peace. He has said that to President Putin, he's said that to President Zelensky, and that is the point of view which the G20 under the Indian presidency espoused, and that was accepted. The G20 presidency under India is the one which went what consensus, and that is the first consensus document, whereas the GA and everything else was stated on. So my submission to you...
it seems to me there's a hypocrisy at work here. You can talk about hypocrisies in the West. I could talk about hypocrisy in India. When it comes to talking sovereignty, and when it comes to an issue you have on your own territory with Kashmir and other people's perceptions of Kashmir's status, you talk about the inviolability of sovereignty. But you don't use that language when it comes to Ukraine and its rights.
We use that language consistently, and I want to correct you. Sovereignty as a concept is something we use consistently.
So condemn Putin's violation of Ukrainian sovereignty.
We have said on record, this is not a time for war. We don't condone the use of...
That's not a condemnation of Russia's invasion of Ukrainian territory.
I would suggest that you read the Western démarche to end the war, and we are in favor of doing the war. We could have a similar argument on the Middle East, on Palestine, etc. I think if this is a discussion on energy, let me say that the Prime Minister's primary commitment is to ensure that there is availability of energy to our consumer at all points, at affordable rates, and in a sustainable manner. And we've done very well on all three. Insofar as Russia is concerned, yes, we've had long-standing relations with the erstwhile Soviet Union. We have relations with the Russian Federation, but we have much stronger relations than with some of the other countries, including the United States. And I would say we buy $20 billion worth of energy from the United States. So the point here is, if it is a discussion on energy, I think it has been completely consistent. And today, we were encouraged by the Americans, by Western Europeans. I think they're out of the equation. They're no longer part of it.
Minister, if I may, I'm going to stop you for a sec, because you've turned the conversation toward America, which is interesting, because Donald Trump, of course, is now in the White House. Donald Trump is determined to use tariffs as and when necessary to change the balance of trade between the United States and key trading partners. He has described India as one of the, quote, kings of tariffs around the world. You can expect tariffs to be imposed on Indian exports to the United States, can't you?
Let me give you a primer on tariffs. Countries are bound by their international obligations. What makes me very happy about what President Trump is saying, and I'll come to tariffs in a minute, he has called for more energy being made available in the world, for the other producers to lower the energy prices. If that happens, the global economy picks up, there's more trade, there's more economic activity, interest rates come down, etc. Insofar as tariffs are concerned, please read carefully what he's saying on energy. It is an attempt to leverage in tariffs also. What he's saying is, if we are a $23 trillion economy and we have open markets and other countries impose high tariffs on us, well, there are two kinds of tariffs. One are tariffs which you bound under successive rounds of multilateral trade negotiations, and there are tariffs which you have not bound. Now, if countries are raising their non-bound tariffs or their bound tariffs, there are consequences on that. Insofar as the president is concerned, he will impose tariffs.
Hang on, let's keep this conversation as simple as possible. If the United States goes ahead with threats to impose tariffs on countries like India, and he has fingered India as a problem, will you respond with punitive tariffs on US goods coming into India?
As a diplomat, I don't respond to hypothetical questions. India is a $4 trillion economy, and India will safeguard its interests, whether it does through negotiation to avoid the tariffs or it does through retaliation. It's not for me as the energy minister to speak on. Whether you should have a conversation on that to whoever is designated to exercise that authority.
Here's another issue you have, and as Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, you have to consider it very carefully. How does India square its commitment to massively grow the economy and therefore to use much more energy, fossil fuel energy, over the coming years, and at the same time meet its commitments, admittedly in India's case, long-term commitments to decarbonisation? How are you going to do it?
India is the one country I am aware of which has met its Paris commitments, point one. India is the one country where the sustainability transition is better than elsewhere. From 2014 to today, we've got 20% biofuel blending, we've got a massive green hydrogen program, and we are today moving in a situation where on all fronts, the decarbonisation debate is succeeding.
But the problem you've got is that you're still massively reliant on coal, the dirtiest fossil fuel for your power. Hang on, let me just finish the point. Coal still generates 75% of India's power. And the...
Why are you banging on with coal? Bro, burning coal ain't the problem. Like, honestly, I accept this, like, a need of humans not to be stupid and burn fucking fossil fuels, but can't you go around going, oh, well, you're a knobhead, you did it. Bro, we started the Industrial Revolution. We kicked off every other country's madness when it comes to putting shit in the air. You're going to complain because other people want to do it? I mean, you can go to, well, no, but shut up. Like, honestly, just shut up.
You're still building new coal-fired power stations.
Again, let me just...
They fucking need them. Like, you're missing the point. They fucking need them. You're going to tell me you can't have Mary Poppins or I can't watch fucking, I don't know, Monty Python. Like, you're telling people who are not a developed country. Like, I'm sorry, India, even though your minister said it, and he's saying it. Apparently, India is not a third world country. So, they're fucking trying, aren't they? Wouldn't you wanna? You probably would. So, what's your fucking point? We're gonna die? Well, yeah, I fucking knew that anyway, didn't I? Since, like, someone told me I don't live forever. Like, hey, child, welcome to humanity. I mean, like, what the fuck's your problem? The world's gonna burn? Yeah, it is. Whether you like it or not anyway. Whether we succeed or not succeed at global warming, inverted commas, we're still gonna fucking die, you brats.
Tell you, power for electricity only accounts for 17% of our overall energy. If you want to look at the total figure, see what is used in our refineries, and they're all moving into green hydrogen. IOCL has 11 refineries, out of them 2 of them first, another 2. So there is a transition taking place which your briefing notes don't capture. Now either you accept what I'm telling you as the energy, I should actually be called the energy transition minister, our biofuel blending on an increasing demand, 20% of that, it's a revolutionary scale change. 90 new flex fuel vessels were on display which are coming to the market in the next 3 months. We've got E100 pure ethanol being sold in 400 outlets. So absolutely, yes, our consumption is increasing. So is our biofuel blending, green hydrogen.
The problem you've got, and that's why I began with this grand ambition to become a fully developed nation.
You know what I hate about this program? It always wants to put people down. They don't want to say oh, this is actually how it is. It's oh, well, if you answer a question, we're just going to shit on you. Is India perfect as a country? Fucking no. Is the United Kingdom? No. Is any country perfect at doing whatever this fucking ChatGPT thing is, or stuff, some magical fucking matrix shit? I think the problem is people think the world is perfect. It works. I think you just, shut up and just relax and just think, no, the world is grey. Think of all the normal things that you can't make your mind upon. Just simple shit should you put the toilet seat up or put it down? How many different humans think of stupid shit like that, right? Just random bollocks. And then try and posit that axiom in any scenario that we put on. And this fucking retard's talking about well, you're shit as a country because, I don't know, you fucking exist. No. This is the whole point why the YouTubes and the internet fails and the news fails, because there's nothing logical, first of all, or informative about any of this, the structure of how one should think. It's bizarre. I've become more literally disinclined with listening to these people the more I listen to them, which is weird. Maybe I'm too smart. I couldn't give a fuck anymore. Dante's Inferno was some shit. Fuck knows.
By 2047 is that there is no way that's going to happen without maintaining the kind of output from your coal-fired power stations, which mean you're not going to complete your energy transition. To quote Indian expert Nandini Das, who's at Climate Analytics, she says, India still has...
I'm an Indian expert. How old are you? I'm 50. And experts on how many years of India? Okay, let me explain something here. People say the experts are often wrong, not in the Joe Rogan aspect of wrong, in the sense of you can't holistically be correct about an entire history of existence. It's impractical for a start, and also it's empirically impossible if you can count to 10. Mathematical, if you say you're an expert on something, right, what you're saying is, I know shit which is valid in my sphere of thinking, right? But most people who are humans think expert means they know everything, which is 100, which isn't the case. But people take everything they see on TV and the internet as 100. Which is why people voted for Donald Trump this year. People are just, give me a reason to think because I can't be bothered.
A very deep focus on coal.
You are welcome to quote, I don't know who these people are. And certainly they don't figure in my discourse at all. A lot of people drawing inspiration from Western NGOs, from people in the West who are extremely jealous of the Indian transition. You're welcome to use whomever's speaking notes you like. But if you're discussing a subject like energy transition, let me point you in 2 specific directions. Please look at the biofuels program and look at what's happening in the Indian green hydrogen field.
Okay. I would say in so, well, so overview. I wouldn't say overview. To replace what he just said, I would say the only thing you need to worry about if you think about geopolitics is resources. Humans are little resource magnets. They just are. So any conflict or anything that's weird in the news or whatever is mostly about resources. You gotta understand. As someone who makes, well, it doesn't make, but is dabbled, I should say, in game development or whatever. If you're making a game, real-time strategy, which is basically Planet Earth. You need to understand the very core of the planet would be what at this point? Resources. So we as a collective, which is very not collective, as you can tell, should be, if we were bees, all deciding to be little bees and collect the most honey we can find. But the problem is, we live on planet Earth, and all the honey is different perceptions of what honey is, or what we perceive to be honey. So some countries want, I know, magnetanium. Some countries want fuck my lithium. Some countries want, oh my god, give me some stress, less medium. Whatever. I don't know. Minimum resources. So they all want resources, right? And the funny thing is, this is where you get trade from, because Donald Trump wants to put tariffs on people. Oh, well, you buy from us, so you don't buy enough. Because he's a businessman. See, the problem is, well, I wouldn't say problem, but I think the underlying point of today's economy is we've got ideological thinkers or leaders that are based on business. Like, they think countries are businesses, which is not new. It came from the 70s, actually, or 60s, I should say, with neoliberalism, which is the idea that you can make easy money by creating blocks. The European Union, NAFTA, CAFTA, whatever the fuck they're called these days. I don't want to keep up. But the point is to make trading blocks. So it'd be easier for corporations to not manipulate, exploit the labor in each country, which they do, clearly. And then they wanted to, I don't know, pay less tax. So neoliberalism worked for about 10 years, give or take. And it's still in the 70s, 60s. Well, the idea was the 60s. It got implemented in the 70s. Ronald Reagan, Thatcher. Lasted about the 80s. Died. Got kind of rejuvenated in the 90s with Labour. I mean, it didn't die, I wouldn't say. But it got turbo boosted in the 90s with the help of tech, really. And then the tech bros, yeah, them people, they decided, well, we're going to kill the economy because we're ultra greedy, which, I mean, it was kind of like the Brahmins, like, you know what I mean? So they killed the economy in the 2000s. And now, from the 2000s, you got, like, baby boomers now who are alive, who will give you the stupidest YouTube videos I've ever seen, and all want to sell you things, and also don't make any sense, because 20-year-olds don't want to actually go to work. They want to be famous, so they can't pay tax, and people are living longer, so we're going to have to raise the threshold of, well, you dying. France 2022, 23. So people don't like the idea of working forever. and now AI's in the mix. So it's like this conversation, just a little micro of how fucking complex the world is right now. It's kind of funny. Like I don't like this guy, by the way. Steve Sakai, he's a prick. I prefer Benji, but whatever.
The tender which IOCL has floated, nowhere in the world have you got this done.
And the guy's funny. I like him, but he's funny.
The first day...
You reminds me of the Iraqi guy. He said, I'm not going to get blown up by the Americans. I'm like, yeah, you are. I mean, he's trying his best. He's arse-sticking the Russians. But then why wouldn't you? I mean, the Russian, like I said before, the whole planet's run by gangsters. Just like people don't pay attention.
I had a meeting with the then Energy Secretary of the United States, Jennifer Greenholm. She said the minute we can get to 1 for 1 for 1, that is 1 kilo of green hydrogen for $1 in 10 years, the energy side. We buy $150 billion of energy from outside. Today, the cost of green hydrogen has come down to 3.5, 4. The minute we bring it down to 2.5, fossil fuel is over. This kind of transition takes place for one. That is 1 kilo of green hydrogen.
See, the thing is, fossil fuel is over, not because it's not profitable. Okay, and it's not profitable. So many things. Where do I start on this fossil fuel human benefit? Look, this is the way it's been for a long time. If you look up shit, whatever. I don't know, put that in a sentence. There's things you can look up that will prove that fossil fuels, as we understand them, have always made sense if you want to make money, because they are the things we can manipulate, shall we say, as humans. You can't have. Okay, let's imagine I'm a tinfoil hatty UFO person. Wink, wink. Okay, let's say we find something that's revolution like fusion or some stupid shit. They'll never find fusion. Fusion doesn't mean nothing. Anyway, imagine you did though, right? So you found some like kind of earth-changing technology that would make everybody's money irrelevant. Do you think in a capitalist system that makes any sense? Do you? I mean, it wouldn't. That's just like, well, let's just give up an entire point of why we exist. So, no, I don't think we're ever going to find, well, I don't think people want to accept a lot of things. Okay, let me start from the beginning. People don't want to accept that they're born and don't know anything, and then they grow up and indoctrinated, and then the entire existence is a meme, just like mine, but at least I admit it. It's a meme, and the reason why it's a meme is because all the shit that we consume is mostly wrong. I don't mean that in a bad way. Well, I do, but what I'm saying is, our consumption of the media or whatever, it's become worse than, I would say, oh, yeah, it's worse than being in a tribe or whatever. So let's say in a tribe, whatever, you know, and someone says, "Bro, don't touch that plant; it'll kill you." Like, we can prove it; it'll kill you. People don't believe that shit no more because they want to be on the internet, and it's TikTok, and it's like so they want to accept mad shit that's not actually real anymore. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that came to be. To be honest with you, it's the way it is. I think there's too many people on the internet. I think there's too many stupid people that don't understand shit. I just like gasping. You know, not paying attention. And to be fair, there's nothing you can really do. Instead of whatever it is. But you can observe it. I mean, that's what I do. I observe it. I observe the news. Stephen Shaka. Like this guy's been on here for about 15 years. BBC. Before him was Stephen. Let me see. It helps to know what you're looking at. Like a lot of people will see this and just go, I don't even know his name. His name's Stephen Sakar. Before it was Benjamin. He's a mud trope for the BBC. I made a video on my old channel. You know me, I was eventually get banned, but on my old channel, I had a video, and I said, why did the BBC change the name of the assault on Gaza the last time before this much? It's October, whatever. Israel attacked Palestine, and it's called the Pillar of Cloud. Every other news contributor, like everyone, because you know I watch the news, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, CNBC, only the BBC, as far as I was understanding it, changed the name. And when they got asked about it, what was the, like someone literally noticed, thankfully. Someone noticed it and asked the question on BBC Watch something, what the fuck it's called. Like, it used to be a point of view, but whatever. Anyway, so when someone asked the question, why did you change it? They said, well, we felt it was necessary to put our position across. I was like, what the fuck does it mean? Like, so you changed what the Israelis said it was. Well, the Israelis reported it as Pillar of Cloud first, the assault on Gaza. And then they changed it to something else, because Pillar of Cloud is literally from the Book of Jericho, in case you don't know. That's why it got weird, because the actual thing that they blew them up with, or the assault on Gaza, was from a biblical reference from the Torah. This is why it was controversial. The BBC literally kept calling it the Pillar of Cloud, which is from the Torah. Everybody else called it something else, and the Israelis even changed it themselves to something else, because they were like, oh, that's a bit insensitive. You know, like they admitted, they were like, oh shit, that's a bit weird. So they called it something else. But the BBC kept going. They were like, that was Pillar of Cloud. John Sopel was even working with them at the same time, and I was on news agents. I'm still paying attention, people. Trust me. These fuckers are clowns. I pay so much attention to how bullshittery. Oh, sorry. These people are. They're clowns. You can catch them out all the time. I swear to God, I should make videos just catching out news agencies on how full of shit they are, reporting to you what you're apparently is the news, which is funny. What's new about humans being fucking stupid?
Hydrogen for $1 in 10 years. The energy side, we buy $150 billion of energy from outside. Today, the cost of green hydrogen has come down to 3.5, 4. The minute we bring it down to 2.5, fossil fuel is over. This kind of transition doesn't takes place through fossilized mindsets, right, which Minister, say you will never become this. They said you'll never become a $5 trillion economy.
Minister, as far as I can see, this is not a sort of east-west political point scoring.
Not at all.
Question.
It should not be.
It is really a planetary question.
Yes.
But all I'm asking is.
No, but you see, the thing is, right? I like this. If you know anything about philosophy, right? What you just said is, it's not about the East and the West. So therefore, it's framing the question This is weird. If you know anything about how like philosophy and psychology works, right? So what you do is you pose a question. So if you pose a question, the very thing a person does is to think of the question that you just posed. So he just said it's not a Western thing or an Eastern thing. And then he said, but. So he's going to change the subject altogether. But the only thing in his mind, this guy's mind, is East and West. So he's going to answer defensively. Watch. You see how you need to listen and pay attention to like how these pose questions, right? Questions are like physics. Like in physics, everything has a reaction, right? So if you're asking questions of somebody, you're going to get a reaction. But it depends on what question you're going to ask them, innit? And he asked the question, like, just watch again. He asked the question 20 seconds ago. What's his reaction?
This kind of transition takes place through fossilized mindsets,
right,
which
Minister,
say you will never become this. They said you'll never become a $5 trillion economy.
Minister, as far as I can see, this is not a sort of East-West.
Okay. This is not to do with East and West. Now, what's his follow-up?
Political point scoring.
Not at all.
Question.
It should not be.
It is really a planetary question.
Yes.
But all I'm asking is whether when you sit in your ministry and make your decision.
See? So he just said it's not East and West, but it's kind of like a planetary thing. So we're all in it together. But when you're sat in your ministry,
you understand that India has a deep...
So it is an East and West problem. You see the thing that you just didn't miss, or maybe you just glossed over. He said, it's not East and West, is it really? No, it's a planetary problem. But when you're sat in your ministry, it's about the East and the West, innit, bro? Like, how stupid does he think people are? What? Hello.
Vulnerability right here, right now, to the impacts of climate change.
It's funny. Like, it's bizarre.
You are trying to remind me of my vulnerability. I'm trying to tell you, I'm not only conscious, but we are doing things in order to ensure that we don't become vulnerable. Today, India is one country which has met its
vulnerable to what?
Paris commitments.
Other humans trying to do the same thing Indians do. I mean, the whole premise of these videos is weird, or this video.
You should be, as a global news output, addressing those countries which are pulling out of climate change, which want, etc.
The United States.
Today, no one is questioning the transition. In order to meet the transition, you have to survive at the present. Please concentrate on those countries where clean cooking fuel is not available. We are supplying to 1.4 billion people clean cooking medium, LPG or natural gas at as little as 5 rupees a day to beneficiaries or 15 rupees a day to non-beneficiary. These are the advances India is making, where 30% of the rural population, even in advanced countries, okay, they use firewood, they use this thing. So I don't know how you're going to define. Right. We will have a healthcare system, Minister, education system, which will have all the ingredients and coordinates of a developed economy much before 20.
I watched a great video by an economist, I can't remember his name. And he said, don't sleep on India. And I believe that to be true, you know, because India is a very interesting country with a very interesting culture. Okay, let me just say this very short. So their culture is a caste system, which is black, bad, white, good, whatever. You know, it is what it is. But they're very educated and very knowledgeable in terms of, you know, being smart. Their culture is very old. The British went over there. I don't know how the British fucking fucked with the Indians, but they did, well, clearly they have, right? So, I like that about India. India will never be China. I think China is a different, I think China's culturally a lot different. I think India is arrogant, which I like. And I think you just, go faster. All I can say, go faster. I don't know what that means in terms of economics for people, but I would say for India, go faster. Because as much as Saka is trying to piss on his parade, India is a very important country. Like, the population, it's got more people than China. And second of all, it's literally the biggest democracy. I know people waffle about the United States. No, India's way more important than... I think if you work for MI5, you'd be paying attention. Or at least, if I was in... Well, I'm not in charge. But if I was in the British government, I would be saying, strategically, India would be very important. Very important.
47. Before we end, Minister, I just want to ask you about your government's vision.
I think Saka's doing a disservice, actually, the way he's treating this guy. I'm not saying every politician tells the truth, but to not have any common sense is a bit disingenuous on Mr. Saka's point. But it's glasses, like, oh, you were lost on, don't get fucking shit.
For your country. And I'm going to use a quote from Ravi Agrawal, who's the editor of Foreign Policy magazine. He talks about a new idea of India prevailing. He says Modi's India is substantially different from Nehru's in terms of this idea. Modi defines nationhood through Hinduism. He believes in a powerful chief executive being preferable to a liberal one. It is, says Agrawal, a form of illiberal democracy. Do you believe in that?
Well, I mean, if we look at the world today, I would think that a lot of countries, including my own, are becoming more illiberal. I don't think it's by choice. It makes no fucking sense. But I think they're becoming more illiberal by necessity of... The world's getting smaller, even though it's huge. And I think that's because we've all realised that what other countries have, what we assume to be the race to the top, and how they correlate to each other. So, natural resources, I mean, it's just like talking over the same old shit that we've always done anyway. But... natural resources, clearly, and technical innovations that we're undergoing. Like, look at DeepSpeak China thing. I mean, that's a video on its own. So, the technology / whatever the fuck it is, I mean, it's gonna happen, whatever that S-curve is, so to speak. It's interesting now, like, as someone who's a tech nerd and into that shit, the AI thing is bizarre. Like I said, I fucked on with the AI bot the other day, and it did what it was told, and I was like, that shit's impressive. It really is.
No, I don't. And I think this is a whole lot of, hogwash.
Bullshit.
There's a fact of the matter is, Mr. Nehru was the first Prime Minister of India. He was deeply impressed with and schooled in the Western liberal system. He did a great job. But today, Mr. Modi inherited an economy which is now not gradually, rapidly transforming. Today, India has got confidence back to its pre-colonial days. Hinduism is a way of life. India today is one of the most liberal democracies. Mr. Agarwal is entitled to his views, and Mr. Agarwal is perhaps serving an audience. Let me share with you something. Today in India, you have a robust democracy. People use the choicest invectives against elected leaders. Try and do that in a Western democracy. See what happens in terms of result. Today, our institutions are functioning. The judiciary, the apex judiciary, the fourth estate, the press, totally free press. These are hallmarks
Minister, you know that journalists in this country do not regard this as a free
I don't know which journalists you're talking about.
Media. You know that outside observers like Freedom House say that India's system is...
As if, oh my God, the hypocrisy. Getting paid by taxpayers on your ridiculous salary by law. Okay, can I ask you a question? Does anybody in India has to pay for their journalists by law? I mean, let that sink in. Taxation. Does any Indian pay tax for any journalist like him? He gets paid by me and you. By law. We don't even have a choice. In this guy's country, don't think so. Let that sink in.
Now only, quote unquote, partly free. That organisations like Human Rights Watch say that the government has escalated a crackdown on civil society and the media. You know all this. I just wonder whether you think all of this is justified to deliver the kind of economic growth plan that Modi...
Not to mention the fact that we got like fucking some of the worst oligarchs running our newspapers. We don't even fucking live in our country. Like, shut up. Stop talking bollocks.
Says he can deliver. Does it justify all of that?
First of all, I don't agree with those characterizations. I don't want to go into individual who said what. But, you know, if I were in your place, I would make an independent assessment rather than be going somebody's...
Exactly. I'd rather, in other words, shut up and don't take the piss, bro.
Calling it an illiberal democracy. We are, whether the West likes it or not, anybody likes it or not, the world's largest democracy. We're also the mother of democracy. True. We had republics operating in India in 6th century BC. And today what you witness in India is a very robust democracy. I would make an independent assessment rather than be going somebody's...
I pressed back on my bad.
Calling it an illiberal democracy. We are, whether the West likes it or not, anybody likes it or not, the world's largest democracy. We're also the mother of democracy. We had republics operating in India in 6th century BC. And today what you...
Wait, you can't... Alright, fine, he's full of shit. The United Kingdom is the mother of democracy. Fuck Greece, Greece don't count. Okay, that's a debate. Who is the mother of all fuck-ups, which is called democracy? When did humans decide that other humans were fucking sentient?
You witness in India is a very robust democracy which is delivering goods and services to its people. What would you us have? Now, if you have to deliver energy, you have to deliver energy at affordable prices at all times to come and maintain the sustainability. That's been done. Insofar as liberty and democracy is concerned, we have no shortage of it.
Hardeep Singh Puri, we have to end there. Thank you for being on Hard Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hard Talk, man, like fucking boring talk. Like, most of the shit was bleh, bleh, bleh. And, I mean, whatever. No. Thank you, Steve Sakar.
Very much, Minister. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Massive knob. If I was the guy in the turban, I would have punched Steven Seagal in the face. I'd be like, bitch! I'm gonna TikTok this. Yeah, it's hard, bitch. It's hard talk. Motherfucker.
Hello there. High pressure dictates the weather trend at the moment, and with clear skies it's provided the perfect opportunity to view with the naked eye the moon close to Jupiter as we closed out Wednesday. Now we keep those clear skies, and so Thursday morning is going to be a chilly start away from the far northwest. A bit more of a breeze here, but low single figures will allow a frost to form, so a cold start to Thursday morning, even some patchy fog as well. Both the frost and the fog will lift away, and for many we're going to see a lot more in the way of sunshine, a beautiful winter's day. Now there will be a little bit of cloud and a bit more of a breeze down through the southeast, could drive in through Essex and Kent a few isolated showers, but all in all a dry, settled day for many, and temperatures recovering after that frosty start, 7 to 9 degrees. Now, as we move out of Thursday towards Friday, the area of high pressure is drifting off into Scandinavia, and we start to see the isobar squeeze together a little. We pick up more of a breeze coming from a southeasterly direction, a cooler source, but it will drive in more cloud. So for England and Wales, it's not going to be as cold a start on Friday. Maybe the frost just lingering to the far northwest. And with that cloud around and a brisk easterly wind starting to develop, it will push in some showers off the North Sea, impacting perhaps East Anglia, southeast England and along the Channel coast down towards Cornwall. The best of the sunshine stays out to the north and the west. It can be windy with it as well, which will take the edge off the feel of the weather story as we go through Friday. So temperatures sitting at around 5 to 7, maybe 8 degrees, but it will feel noticeably cooler when you factor in the strength of the wind. So you'll need a couple of extra layers, I suspect, probably feeling close to freezing for many on exposed east coast. Into the start of the weekend, well, we are likely to continue to see high pressure with us. There's still the risk of a few sharp showers around from time to time, and in the southeast, some of those could be wintry in nature as it's staying cold. But the quiet theme on the whole is likely to stay with us. And don't forget, if you want more details for your area, we'll download the BBC Weather app and you can find hourly details here. That's it. Take care.
Thank you, fit lady.
The future is already here.
Live camera action.
All about AI changing our jobs.
Where do you see this technology moving in the future?
A flipping burger robot.
From gadgets to gaming.
The virtual reality landscape has changed quite a bit.
May the best driver win. It won't be me.
Sustainability to AI.
By using giant nets and AI robots to deal with plastic pollution.
This is where the technology is being tested.
Fake.
Yay! I'm enjoying. Do you enjoy?
Yeah, this is good.
The latest developments from the world of tech.
I could come up with a date predicting when you would die.
Pat your head, rub your stomach.
This is actually a floating solar farm, and it's a pretty impressive sight.
I think it's quite cool.
Wow! That went right through me!
Click. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
No.
This programme asks plain questions with the help of the unrivalled range of BBC journalists right across the world. And gathered here in this building, I'll also draw on my frontline experience that helps me know who to talk to and who to listen to. Meaning our analysis is objective, unbiased, and I promise...
Wait, so hold on. A BBC journalist for 50 years is going to interview journalists from to the big... What? We're going to be objective. Okay, bro. Shut up.
You with absolutely no spin. That's why we call our programme Unspun World.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, didn't you kill that shit? Apparently.
Bill Gates is one of the most famous people on the planet, a tech...
Oh, I think I'm just going to kill myself. I might as well. What's the fucking point? Better kill myself. Kill myself. Oh, no. Bye.